Hi, I'm Attorney Trixie Cruz-Angeles.
And I'm Mike Defensor, and this is
The Spokes. From the Palace Halls. From the Palace Halls, then to our group chats now,
We will be giving you conversations that will make you think and assess.
so that you could come up with your own personal opinion. So during did you hear? Si OMB Boying
Yes, Ombudsman
mentioned
Boying, yes.
that there's an ICC arrest warrant for Senator Bato.
Actually, madami nagulat noon. It became
Yeah.
viral immediately.
Yeah, within minutes.
Nagulat,
Pagtingin
no?
ko,
Madami na ako
oo.
kagad ng message. But I think si Secretary John Vic, no? Immediately responded. I'm not sure how many hours, but may lumabas ka agad
1 or 2 hours. Kasi I was watching,
Yes.
binabantayan ko siya. Because, of course, major event yan eh.
Totoo.
There's a warrant and then for a sitting Philippine senator.
That's
so the
right.
implications on sovereignty are manifold. So nakakaano lang is that the thing is, most people don't understand about ICC warrants is that they can be issued publicly, which is why sinasabi ni John Vic that we have no notice, there's no, it's not posted in the website.
Yes.
But you know that it doesn't really matter because ICC warrants can be under seal, which means it's confidential. They'll keep it a secret until it's already being served.
Pero, Attorney Trixie, from what I understand dun sa Rome Statute, di ba, prior to the issuance of a warrant, ito nga, medyo kinukunik ko dun sa pagkaka-aresto ni Presidente Duterte.
Yeah.
First is, establish yung magkakaroon ng investigation.
Doon sa
And which
sa
I think they did
pre-trial
that already,
chamber.
di ba?
Yes,
Tapos, ang pangalawa nilang gagawin is yung individual participation of the person. In this
Yes,
particular case, Senator Bato de la Rosa when he was Chief PNP.
Chief Executor of the War on Drugs.
On the war on drugs. And then third is the actual, di ba, notice to the country concerned kung membro ng Rome Statute,
yes,
ng treaty. So, dun ata sa dalawa, I'm not sure about the investigation kasi ginawa na nila yon. Parang hindi pa nangyayari to. Wala pang summons kay Senator Bato, wala pang
Ongoing
tanong.
yung sa pre-trial chamber. The Office of the Prosecutor can begin the
Yes.
investigation. And actually, they can also not provide notice. Unang-una, wala na tayo sa Rome Statute, di ba? We're out of it. But when it comes to the issuance of a warrant of arrest, that's an ex parte
Okay,
proceeding.
you mentioned, di ba, na pwedeng quiet yung naging investigation nila. Pero kailangan pa rin magsabi kay Senator Bato, di ba, na
Dun
what was your
sa-
participation ay
yes.
nangyari. Should be, di ba, na individually, nagkaroon sila ng information or at least invitation or
May proceedings kasi, but it can proceed without the accused. At totoo
without
niyan.
any question. Oh yeah, wala siyang
Kasi the
to
accused,
defend
wala pa
himself.
kasing technically accused. This
Okay.
person, there's still parang fact-finding yung
Okay.
office dun sa sa pre-trial chamber. It's ang similarity niya is parang dun sa prosecutor's office, establishment of probable cause.
That's right.
So yun yung So
Pero, di ba, kahit naman sa prosecutor's office kung meron kang
bibigyan ka talaga
may
ng
chance
notice.
ka to
Tayo yan.
reply.
Sila
Yes.
hindi.
Ah,
Pwedeng
okay.
hindi. That's why former President Duterte was never informed that there was already an ongoing case. So aware na lang tayo kasi nga yung mga complainants would publicize
Okay.
the filing of their complaints.
So, in our particular case, meron ng ginawa ng rules and regulations sa Supreme Court
For extradition.
for extradition. And siguro kailangan malinawan doon sa ating mga kababayan, may dalawang situation eh. Yung isa, yung common crimes,
Yes.
like in a different state, ibang bansa, o yung isa naman, itong ICC under a treaty. So tayo, governed tayo by a treaty. So,
The statute.
the statute.
Which we have withdrawn from.
we have withdrawn form. So, ang ibig lang sabihin, si Senator Bato can be arrested if the Philippine government will cooperate.
That's true.
Yes.
Yes. But wait, there are several. Meron tayong batas, RA 9851, which
Yes.
punishes crimes against humanity.
Yun yung binabanggit ni then Secretary Boying during the hearing, during the discussion.
Section 17.
Yes.
But what it requires first, before you can even quote Section 17, is that it states that the Philippines, the country, will take first jurisdiction
That's right.
Kailangan may kaso muna si President Duterte or si Senator Bato here in the Philippines for violation of the crimes against humanity. Primary jurisdiction belongs to the Philippines.
To the Philippines.
So kailangan magpakita na mayroon tayong good faith or at least nililitis siya dito, but the Philippines shows an unwillingness or incapacity
Yes.
to litigate
To litigate
the
or to file
case,
charges
to
against...
file charges. So this one will require a judicial finding. Diba? So yung sinasabi ni Attorney Conti that there is hindi nag-a-apply yung rules on extradition when it is an ICC, when it is a tribunal.
Yes.
But if you will look at Section 17, says, nakalagay doon na pwedeng isurrender, di ba? Or pwedeng, if an investigation is already ongoing, to have the investigation through the International Tribunal.
Yes.
Subject to the application of extradition or other laws.
Which is now the rules of the Supreme
Yes.
Court.
Now, that's extradition. Now, if they're going to argue na hindi pwedeng extradition dyan, the Constitution will still require due process.
Yes.
Hindi natin basta pwedeng i-turn over yung tao because we as a sovereign nation will take primary jurisdiction.
Yung nangyari, for example, crimes against humanity, di ba sabi mo, kailangan nagkaroon ng local application. For example, in this particular case, walang na-file kay Senator Bato locally.
Wala.
Okay, so may tribunal case, sabi ng tribunal, may probable cause sa'yo. Huliin ka namin. So ang gagawin nila, supposedly, is if we don't want to cooperate, wala silang magagawa.
Wala.
Kung gusto natin mag-cooperate, they go through DFA.
Yes.
DFA will go to DOJ, tapos i-arrest. So, ang bottom line dito is if there will be cooperation of the Philippine government.
Although they can, the forum, if you look at the forum sa ICC, there are strategies that they use to serve the warrant. Kasi medyo napapahiya na yung ICC.
Dahil walang nahuhuli.
Wala, lalo-lalo na yung malalaki.
Diba?
Netanyahu, Trump.
Trump.
All of these have outstanding warrants of arrest from the ICC.
Attorney Trixie, you mentioned earlier, dapat may local process na kailangan ma-file. Paano kung kunyari bukas filean mo si Senator Bato?
Dito. It will be subject to 9851.
Prior to bago siya matanggal. So dapat pala yung mga kaibigan ng Senator Batong abogado, magpa-file na siya.
Mag-file na sila.
Para hindi siya.
Para malitis siya dito.
Yes.
Dapat ongoing.
Sabi ni Senator Soto, sabi niya, I will not allow while Senate is in session. Let us clarify, di ba? Marami nang nahuli. Senator Enrile, Senator Laila de Lima, Senator Trillanes, Senator yung nakalagay kasi sa Article 6, Section 11 of the Constitution, ang klaro doon sabi nila is that there are two components. One is that Congress is in session and then the crime. And the crime is 6 years.
Or less.
Or less.
So, kung life imprisonment or kung capital punishment, pwede pa rin. Kumbaga, walang protection, walang sanctuary yung ma-offer yung legislature.
Yes.
So, that's clear. Itong si Senator Soto might be kind of pandering to his colleagues.
I will protect you. This is the Senate. Pero hindi, it doesn't apply.
The Constitution says otherwise.
Yes.
So, pagdating na, kunwari, andyan ang arresting team, example lang na anong magagawa ni Senator Soto?
I think if tutulungan si Senator Bato ng Senate, should be a Senate resolution addressed to the Supreme Court and the Philippine government, the Office of the President, that they should not cooperate if ever a warrant is issued against Senator Bato with the ICC. I think yun talagang dapat magawa. Kung talagang may gusto silang proteksyon kay Senator Bato.
I think ang kailangan lang talaga something definitive about our statement, about the country taking a stand on our sovereignty. So, for instance, mangyayari talaga yung mga ganito that we're party to a convention. Pagkatapos may mga obligations required sa atin. We don't waive our sovereignty. I mean, we waive to a certain degree. Pero even the tribunals, even the Rome Statute will say na ang primary, kailangan complementarity. So, ibig sabihin, dito muna. I-recognize din. In fact, the Rome Statute doesn't waive sovereignty, it upholds it.
More than the legal debates about all these things, ang dapat unang itulak ng ating gobyerno, ng ating bansa, is protektahan natin yung citizens of the Philippines primarily because we have a working judiciary. Diba? Yun naman ang isa sa mga conditions under the ICC.
No, working is not precise. That's
Okay,
the layman's
yes,
term.
yes,
So,
yes, yes.
Kailangan incapable or unwilling.
Unwilling,
So, yung
incapable.
incapacity niyan isn't that hindi nag-work ang judiciary, it's that we don't have a law.
Yes.
So, dito may RA 9851 already.
Hindi, tsaka siguro doon sa ibang bansa na yung judiciary perceived to be na didiktahan or hindi talaga.
Natatakot.
Or natatakot.
Oo,
Or
pwede
wala
rin
talagang
ganon.
function,
Yun
di ba?
yung unwillingness.
Ayun nga, ang tingin ng maraming Pilipino, whether they are for or against President Duterte, itry nyo yan dito.
You know, ito ngang unwillingness, kasi I remember that I was still practicing. Nag-human rights law kami ni na attorneys Paki Farolan and all that.
Okay.
Even during sa kasagsagan ng war on drugs. And in fact, we represented some who had been illegally detained.
Okay.
So one of the things that is important for the state to show, indicate unwillingness is hindi nagfa-file ng case or nagfa-file ka ng case pero dinidismiss
Hindi gumagalaw,
and so on.
oo.
Now, the dismissal must be yung walang basis. Like,
Yes.
later on, pag nag-certiorari ka, bakit nyo didismiss? Gagana ng Supreme Court. But many of the cases that were filed were due to lack of evidence.
Okay.
So, and this is normal. In any case, kung wala kang ebidensya, di-dismiss talaga yan.
So, Atty. Trixie, during the war on drugs, meron kang nag-lawyer ka sa ibang mga victims
Yeah.
na hinuli ng mali.
Families of victims. Kasi
Families of
merong isa,
victims.
actually unalived. So,
Okay.
na.
And you won in those cases?
The family withdrew.
Okay.
So, but we did, we pushed it as far as we could. Pero at some point, kasi anak ng OFWs, they didn't want to fight.
Okay.
So, isa pa yon. When the families are the ones who withdraw the case, is it indicative of the state's unwillingness?
Okay.
Kailangan natin pag-usapan tong mga to So,
Alam mo, Atty. Trixie, kahapon, sinasabi ko kay
Yeah,
Jen, nagkwentuhan kami. In-interview lang namin si General Pocus yesterday.
I heard.
Morning.
I saw. Napanood ko
Pagdating
kayo.
nga hapon, nasa listahan kami ng mga watch list, no? General Pocus being number 1. Sabi ko nga dito sa mga kasama natin dito sa Bilyonaryo, sabi ko si Atty. Trixie dapat kasama dyan sa listahan yan. Bakit ako biglang nasama dito?
Ikaw, 2 beses ka pa nabanggit.
Oo nga
So, medyo maano sa'yo.
So hindi ko alam kung ano yung basis ng watch list for destabilization.
Yung imagination yata nung nagsulat. Kasi wala rin naman siyang sinasabi na basis. In fact, nakalagay dun sa Facebook post is kahit pitin daw yung whatever bodily parts niya, hindi daw siya magsasagot tungkol dyan.
Yes.
So,
Nung nakita mo yung listahan, nakita ko
natatawa nga ako.
former generals yan
Oo.
Mostly.
Si General De Leon, hi,
Oo.
Jojo.
Mostly former officers of the armed forces.
Correct.
Oo. Tapos nasama ako doon, meron pang alias Monk. Sino ba yung alias
Ay,
Monk?
hindi ko kilala. But we will find out sa mga kasamahan mo.
So doon po sa mga
co-conspirators.
gumawa po ng listahan, ang una niyong ilagay dyan, hindi yun naman una, top 5 dyan si Atty. Trixie. Cruz-Angeles.
From arrest warrants, let's go to another issue. The Bureau of Customs is auctioning off Sara Discaya's luxury vehicles. When the spokes returns after this short break. And the spokes is back. We now shift to another front where accountability is almost always in question. The Bureau of Customs.
Another spokes is joining the discussion is the official spokesperson of the Bureau of Customs. Pinakagwapo to sa BOC. Assistant Commissioner
Hindi si Ariel.
si Ariel, pangalawa.
Okay.
Attorney Jet Maronilla. Welcome to the spokes, Attorney Jet.
Good morning,
Hi,
Sec Trixie.
good
Good morning, Sec
morning,
Mike. Good morning to
Attorney
all
Jet.
those watching the show.
Kamusta naman yung auction?
We've moved it, ma'am. No, we initially planned it on the 17th.
Yeah.
Because of circumstances,
Yes.
you all know.
Ano to? Because of the storm? Bakit meron tayong delay?
Well, we're anticipating that there will be a rally,
Rally,
on the
I
16th,
see,
17th,
Pero,
and 18th.
Attorney Trixie, tanong mo natin, di ba, ilan ba yung nakuha yung sasakyan kay La Discaya?
30 plus, sir.
30 plus.
13 were the ones that actually seized. No? All others kasi may napakita silang document. Or either they were able to produce documentation or these were purchased with legitimate dealers. No?
Dito.
So,
dito po.
kinonfiscate yun yung lahat ng 30. Chinek ninyo kung bayad lahat to, yung 13 na iwan, 1-3.
1-3, yung under seizure proceedings.
Under seizure proceedings.
So yung sa inyo, ilan yung, because I understand the others were seized for payment of income taxes sa BIR, ilan yung ino-auction ninyo?
Out of the 13 that's with us, 7 po kasi were voluntarily, how do you call this, surrendered already by the Discayas, and they could not produce any documents.
Okay.
I'm wondering, bakit cannot produce any documents? Kasama ba dyan yung Rolls-Royce?
May na-produce ho sila, kaya lang wala ho yung corresponding import documents. So they had parang ang tawag ho na voluntary ang surrender nila.
Yes,
and there's already some sort of a waiver of their right to question the seizure proceedings.
Pero Atty. Jet, di ba, pag bumili ka, whoever, hindi ka naman bumibili ka agad abroad, mag-import ka, you buy it from somewhere here.
Yes.
So bakit hindi yun ang hinuli? Bakit hindi yun ang nakita?
Yun ho under investigation, yung mga importers nitong 13 cars na to. No? Pero una namin kukunin siyempre yung mga kotse muna from them. Hindi naman ho namin kinakasuhan pa yung mga diskaya. No? Of course, for some vehicles, they are under investigation.
Okay.
Because of some statements. Let's say, for example, the Rolls-Royce.
Oo nga.
Kasi may statement sila that it was, how do you call it, custom made daw kasi yung ganong. During the interview, no?
Yes.
They said it's custom made because of the color of the Rolls-Royce inside. So
Yung payong
we want to make sure that they had no participation whatsoever.
So, sorry, Atty. Jet, hindi pa rin ako nakakalaruan eh. For example, di ba, bumili akong kotse. So, let's say I buy from maraming distributor dito. Binili ko. Hinuli nyo ngayon. Do I surrender that o, di ba, buyer in good faith ako eh. Dapat tulihin yung importer. Siya magbayad ng papers, ng kung kulang ang taxes. Di ba? Why is it now the Discayas that have to pay or have to surrender?
Well, the proceedings so kasi ng Bureau of Customs is a proceeding in res.
So it attaches to the property,
yes,
not to the person.
Not to the person.
Okay.
So, ibig sabihin, ang kaso namin is against the cars.
Okay.
The property.
Okay.
During the investigation, if it is found to be that the ones holding it are the ones responsible for bringing it in illegally, then a separate investigation will be conducted against them and separate cases will be filed.
So kung bibili ako sa dealer, kailangan kumpleto yung mga dokumento.
Usually ho, may pinagbayaran kayong duties and taxes.
Okay.
May certificate of payment which is used to register it. And of course, your LTO registration.
Okay, pagka may certificate of payment, bayad na ako, later on, sinabi ng customs, oy, kulang, mali ang bayad mo. Kinlear ni customs na yun eh. Supposedly, di ba?
Meron pong administrative proceedings sa pwede nyong gamitin as a remedy, no? At the same time, there will be an investigation dun sa aming tauhan, no?
Okay.
Pero meron din naman hong purely administrative lang. Meaning, on a post-clearance audit level, we can say that the assessment made during the time of its importation, there were some discrepancies. And then, ang gagawin lang ho nun, pagbabayari namin ng tama. Yung nag-import nitong mga kotse na to.
Without prejudice, of course, let's say may buyer in good faith, they can have action, they can file an action against the importer.
Yes.
Dahil may
Yes,
misrepresentation. So, has it happened? Kasi tetestigo ang customs dyan eh.
Meron naman ho, no? May mga ganong instances where the buyer actually sought the help of the Bureau of Customs to file cases against the importer. There's also an option for the buyer if the transaction is made in good faith also, meaning technically valuation issue lang, classification issue, wala pong fraud. Even si buyer can actually represent to the Bureau of Customs for the payment of the correct duties and taxes to clear the ownership of the car. Pero pag may bad faith po kasi, like for example, in this 7 cars, our initial investigation shows that there's really fraud. Hindi ho kasi nako-correct yun.
Okay.
Could you give us an idea? Kasi we're talking about duties, pero wala tayong amounts na nakadikit dyan. How much are import duties on luxury vehicles? Or let's say that a luxury vehicle costs $1 million. Example lang. How much would be the import duties for this?
Normally, ma'am, it should be whatever the amount of the vehicle is. That's the same amount based on our experience. No? If you compute it, basically the same amount would be for your duties and taxes. So if you're buying
1 million.
1 million din ang duties and taxes.
So, dito sa fraud na nakita nyo, anong fraud ang meron kay Diskaya?
Hindi namin, sir, makita yung certificate of payment. So there's there seems to be that particular loophole, no?
Okay.
Yung certificate of payment that's being presented to us from the Diskayas.
So, ito from the onset talaga may problema.
Hindi namin makita yung record namin.
For how many cars yan, yung walang certificate of payment?
Pito.
Pito po yung may problema talaga na i-auction namin. But all 13 may problema.
May
ho
problema.
yung seats niya.
Sino may proponents na for the bid? Di ba kailangan mag-bid dyan, di ba? Meron na ba?
May viewing po, no? I think this week, no? There's a public viewing for 2 days. And then after that, after that, pag nakita ho siguro yung condition, then they will tender a sealed bid, which we will open on the 20th.
Sorry, Attorney Jed,
Sealed.
pero kaya ako natawa kasi, di ba sa mga, kanina pinagkikwentuhan namin, sa mga negosyante, particularly mga Chinese businessmen, mahalas yan eh. Kasi dahil may kaso eh. So, ang ano ko, Attorney Jed, sino magbibid dyan?
Ay, maraming interesado
are there
sa
people
luxury
talaga
vehicles,
magbibid na papasok?
Well, there are, sir, no? I think there are still some traders who would want to make money out of it.
Okay.
I believe some are collectors who may want to be part of history. And
May base
Pwede
price
rin,
kayo, di ba?
meron ho, meron.
Oh,
So
sige,
the base
yung
price usually is the duties that should have been paid.
Hindi
Plus?
no, ma'am. The base price is, well, when you forfeit a particular item, imported item kasi, it becomes now the property of the government. So when we do public auction, it is as if we're
book
selling,
price,
yes, we're selling a property of the government. So it's the value of the car.
Okay.
Naku, ang hirap yan din, ano? So, example, ano yung mga coaching to? Siguro 3 kotse lang.
Rolls-Royce,
Wow,
meron
Rolls-Royce.
hong G63 AMG na Mercedes-Benz.
Benz,
May Cadillac Escalade.
Cadillac. So, unahin natin yung Rolls-Royce. Magkano ang presyo niyan?
Brand new, it's about 40.
40. But in this particular bid, ano yung base price natin?
Parang ganoon din ho, no? Less lang ng konting depreciation.
Okay. So, may depreciation,
May depreciation.
naman.
About 20% ho yata yung depreciation.
So, yung 40 maging mga 36.
Mga ganun
Sorry, 32.
Yes.
32 million.
More
Attorney
or less.
Trixie yan.
Hold up
Pwede
muna
bang hulugan?
tayo.
Pwede hulugan?
Hindi,
Hindi.
I'm sorry,
Walang
sir. Yun
gives.
talaga, walang gives.
Okay.
Pero nakakabenta.
Makakabenta. Tama,
Are there any failed bids, failed attempts na? Like, mapabid kayo tapos walang bumili. Nangyayari ba yan?
Pag ganito ho, usually pag luxury cars, it's very common, no? Kasi
Mahal eh.
mahal, tapos the buyers would usually look for, instead of actually public bidding, would most likely have the preference for negotiated sale na lang.
Tapos takot, wala, yung mga contractors, takot ngayon.
Oo, of
wala
course.
nang bibili dyan sa, wala magbibili. Yung mga congressmen din, tsaka yung mga political officials, takot na rin ngayon kasi,
It is, yung negotiated sale, yan yung reason kung bakit pinapasira no ni PRD, ni Presidente Duterte, yung
Pag
mga
nag-two failed
luxury
bidding, so
bid.
kasi under the law, it's negotiated
So,
sale.
it can happen here.
It can happen here if there are 2 failed biddings.
Pero hindi naman siguro lumalayo yung price pag negotiated or
Hindi rin po.
ano yung
Hindi
rules dyan pag negotiated?
Well, the common rule under it should not be disadvantageous to the government.
Correct.
So that's
Kasi
the basic rule.
anti-graft ka.
Ma-anti-graft ho. So nagkakataon ho na minsan nag-fail pa rin doon, and then we look at the price again, reevaluate it, and go for a third and fourth public
Wag lang malugi.
auction.
Oh, pero pagka nag-failed bid kasi yan, like especially dito, I mean, naawa ako sa BOC
Yeah,
Kasi, di ba, itong Diskaya issue and the vehicles, medyo ano yan ano tawag dito? Kalat, no? Everyone, I'm sure, will monitor the bidding. Titingnan nila yan. Paano pagka nag-fail? Hindi naman kasalanan ng BOC yun. Di ba?
Tapos in the meantime, nagbabayad ka ng storage niyan. Di ba? It occupies space. Even if it's your storage,
Yes,
even if
of
it's the
course.
custom storage, may cost yan.
Oo.
So, pag tumatagal yan, nalulugi ka din. So, kailangan mo talaga mag-unload. Pag hindi ka naman nag-unload, mag-i-explain ka. So, either way, meron kang danger sa anti-graft.
Yeah.
Maganda dyan, Attorney Jet, yung mga casino, kasi mayayaman naman
Oo nga.
I-display nila sa harap. Diba?
Yeah.
This is the...
Oo nga,
this is a product of the flood control.
Controversy.
Controversial. Andun sa harap. Kasi kung ganyan kamahal, paano gagawin mo? And again, for many business people, pagka ganyan na parang galing malas ba? Yun ang term?
May mga ganun hong
di
mga
ba sa
ganun
mga
pamahiin yung iba.
pamahiin.
Yes, oo. Lalo na
Ang
yung mga
hirap.
negosyanteng malalaki.
Oo.
Sometimes the bigger the businessman, the bigger the beliefs. Ganyan. Pero just for the sake of our audience, saan po pumupunta yung proceeds pag in-auction niya yan?
Diretso po sa
Treasury.
coffers of the government. So sa National Treasury po yan.
Actually, the BOC is one of the top money makers for the government.
Number
diba?
2.
Number 2, number 1.
Number 3 po yata. I think
Number
there's
1 is
BIR.
BIR.
And then there's a cumulative of all other agencies under one department. I forgot what.
Yes, but as far as an agency
We're a
concerned, number 2 talaga
yeah,
kayo.
we're close to it.
Well, close second. Tapos, kamusta naman ang discipline sa BOC? Dinig ko si Com Ariel has been busy filing administrative cases. Dinig ko. Is it true?
Yes, ma'am. I think that's his that's when he went in, I think his message was very clear naman, no? That he was there to clean up the ranks. So there are several administrative cases already filed, including for this one, no? May mga show cause orders na ho kami. May mga admin cases na rin kaming na-file.
Meron na bang dismissals?
Meron ho kasing due process lang na sinusunod.
Yes,
But we're very close to some resolutions, no?
Yes.
To be issued. There are also, if you follow the Senate, there's an ongoing Senate investigation on the agri issue in Subic. So there's also issuance there of administrative
What is the
suspensions.
agri issue in Subic again?
Meron lang hong mga lumabas doon, no, na mga agricultural products that there seems to be some lapses in terms of implementation of regulations.
What are these agricultural products? Are we talking fertilizer, equipment?
Gulay, so there are vegetables and some are fish.
So ano na to, di ba? Hindi lang customs law ang vina-violate dito. May hoarding, economic sabotage na because
Yes.
agricultural products.
Alam mo, Attorney Jet, si Commissioner Ariel is, kasababayan ko pa yan sa UP. Si Attorney Jet, bata sa amin, But we were...
Huwag mo papaalala kung kailan yan.
Hindi.
Kasi mag-aabot kami sa college.
Ako kasi ang attitude ko, in the case of BRR and customs, kayo ang revenue generating agencies. So sabi ko, Ariel, sabi ko, the first thing talaga dapat is to make sure that you're able to collect the revenues. Yun naman talaga mandate So, kamusta naman? For the past, of course, nung wala pa siya and up till now, kamusta, Attorney Jet, ang revenue collection natin? Anong target nyo pala, sorry?
For this year, it's 958 billion.
Billion. Okay.
Medyo tall order siya. Actually, adjusted na yon, no?
Adjusted, pinababa, pinataas?
Pababa kasi 1 trillion yan, 1.64 trillion.
Okay.
The start of the year. But
So, kaya?
during mid-year nagkakaroon ng evaluation yung DBCC and then looking at the macroeconomic assumptions.
the situation.
And then they adjust, no?
Yeah.
Well, we've hit the July target, but we're a little bit struggling on the past few months, no? We've had issues on volume, of course.
That's right.
And we're trying to correct some of our valuation also and some revenue collecting efficiencies ng practices ng aming mga tao. But still, no, hanggang nung October nga ho, no, I was discussing it yesterday with the commissioner, no, because we're set to report every month to the Department of Finance. Medyo yung volume lang namin medyo mababa.
So nasa-short kayo ngayon?
Nasa-short kami sa target, year versus year naman ho.
Yes.
Up kami on a substantial number. No? I think we're up about 5-6 billion pesos.
So okay pa tayo as of now?
Year versus year yan, sir. No?
Yes.
There's an increase.
Year versus year, ibig sabihin compared to last year, but yung in terms of target na 958 billion?
958, medyo kapos kami dyan. Okay. And we're hoping that we can recover November, December. Yeah. Medyo maganda ho kasi yung volume namin ngayong November. Okay. Hopefully it can be sustained December. Okay. Nung August, we expected it because ghost month eh. Okay. Traditionally ho, wala talagang nagpaparating ng ghost month. We were surprised nung September and October.
Pero Attorney Jet, di ba? Attorney Trixie, yung nagsalita na NEDE, binagsak na yung GNP.
Fourth quarter, down
to 4%. So I would think, hindi kayo, I mean, may basis na kung di nyo man maabutan.
Adjusted.
Yes, sir. But sanay na kami na talagang whatever happens, we need really to exert an effort to reach the target.
So, for example, agricultural products. So, pagka illegal yung shipment, this is auctioned off. So, kahit paano mag-ano. So, agricultural, dinidestroy yan.
Under the new law, ma'am, unfortunately, no, dun sa anti-agricultural economic sabotage law. Ang way lang po is for destruction if it's imported. Yeah.
Wow.
So kahit bigas?
Kahit ano pong agricultural product. That's why there's a discussion right now to look into that particular option.
Kain kasi yan. Considering how high the prices of food are right now, tapos GDP growth is down, economic opportunities are also down, medyo kailangan siguro i-re-evaluate yan. But what about your other main import product? Kamusta ang illegal drugs?
So far, ma'am, ang
bakit may import product?
dami kasing controversy before. No? Well, so far, yung nag-shift yata yung mga sindikato ngayon, based on sa mga joint operations that we've been conducting with PIDEA, the Philippine National Police, and even NBI. Ang ginagawa na, smuggling in the open seas. No? They're not using the ports anymore. Kasi nagkaroon ho ng of course, when we got into a lot of these controversies, there were also improvements in how we detect illegal drugs, including purchases of X-ray machines that has material discrimination capability. So pagpasok ka lang ho.
Sa mga container.
You can tell what is in there.
This is modern astrophysics na ho yung gamit natin. It's not the China-based X-ray machines before. So, yung dalawang major port ho, meron na yan. Improve na rin namin. So, recently, kung familiar ho kayo sa mga tea-bags na ang laman pala is illegal drugs, ang apprehension ho nito, palutang-lutang na sa mga shores, sa mga shorelines natin, and there are vessels that actually gather them.
Nilalagyan ng ano yan?
Pagka pumasok na sa territorial waters,
meron ng flotation device.
Meron kayo nahuli na 42.5 million sa NAIA drugs, no?
NAIA, so hindi ito floating.
NAIA ho, almost weekly we have apprehensions of
yung packages.
Illegal drugs. Yes.
So ano to? Saan galing yung drugs?
Suspected ho namin, transship to, no? It's transship through Hong Kong, but we're really looking for the source. Ang source lang naman ho niyan would either be the triangle, the illegal drugs triangle here at Southeast Asia, which is Cambodia, Laos, and Myanmar. So those are the three usual sources, no? Minsan may pagmalakihang sources. Yung sinuloan
drug cartel
from Mexico.
So itong nahuli
so it's heading for there. Some of them are heading for there or coming from there?
Some are coming from there in distribution to locally and Southeast Asia.
Itong nahuli nyo is cocaine.
Hindi, meron din ho kami nahuhuli.
Itong 42.5 million.
I think this is
Shabu.
shabu.
Okay.
So local, pag shabu ba, normally local consumption yan?
Usually ho, no? Ang findings ng PIDEA is local for local consumption.
Wow.
Okay.
So, but you still have information sharing with various customs agencies all over the world. And many instances na because of this information sharing, aware na kayo na may padating bago dumadating.
Yes ma'am, if there are intelligence information na
Yes,
may parating, of course, no? Especially, we're very active with RILO, the Regional Intelligence Liaison
Yes,
Office. Pero madalas yung huli namin comes from profiling really.
Okay.
I see, okay.
Yung, especially sa airport, sanay yung mga tao namin dyan sa pag-profile
nakikita niyo
ng
pa lang,
mga tao. What people don't see is that marami din ho kaming nahuhuli na negative, no? And we do apologize for those. But it turns out that that particular technique is what allows us to also catch.
But we'll probably ask more on this later, including why do these same problems keep resurfacing at the Bureau of Customs? Is the issue technology? Thank you for introducing the topic in technology. Lack of manpower or lack of human will? But before you answer this, the spokes will return after this short break. And the spokes is back, still with Attorney Vincent Maronilla. Attorney Jet. Our hanging question, why do the problems keep resurfacing at the Bureau of Customs? And is the issue technology, manpower, or human will? Including, kamusta yung is this also the issue with drug enforcement?
The answer, ma'am, is all of the above, really. No?
Talaga.
We lack manpower. We're supposed to be 6,000 people strong.
All right.
6,000.
And how many are you now?
We're about close to 5,000 pa lang.
Okay.
There was a
ang laki ng
time
deficit nyo.
there was a time di talaga nag-hire. There was a
Bakit?
moratorium. I don't know who created the moratorium for hiring, but there was a time there was a moratorium for hiring. So
Yung DBM pa yun?
Usually
yeah,
DBM,
totoo, issue.
kasi it depends on available funds kasi
Okay.
kino-compute yan eh.
Oo,
Sir,
tapos, well, at least sana hindi naman yung
including
revenue
benefits,
generating. Pero, Attorney Jet, ito nung panahon, 20, 30 years ago, alam namin na yung targets, no, is yung 10% doon, nilalaro ng so-called players o nung nagsasmuggle. At that time, fuel. Fuel naman ang pinakamalaki.
Correct.
So what is now the biggest importation? Kunya at 1 trillion na kayo, sabihin na natin 1 trillion, sana natin. Ilang percent talaga yung smuggled goods? About 20%?
ang tansya namin, sir, is about 15 to 20.
15 to 20%.
15 to 20%.
I mentioned this sa Trixie kasi ang tingin ng mga tao, hindi kasi puro smuggle. Hindi. Dapat tutok lang ho tayo. Ngayon, ano po yung primary products na pumapasok yung smuggling? Fuel is still number 1 o hindi na po?
It's still there, but hindi na ho, no?
Hindi na siya number 1.
Mula ho nung nagtaas tayo, kung saan ho mataas yung taxes, unfortunately, dun sila nag-shift, no? So, nung nagtaas tayo ng sigarilyo, ang
Yun talaga.
number
Sigarilyo.
1 ho naming
Pero,
most smuggled product
Hindi
is
ba electronic
sigarilyo.
products ngayon ang number 1 sa smuggling?
Technical
Cellphones,
smuggling, sir, yes. No?
Okay.
They declare it as
something else.
no? Or a brand that's lower than what it should be.
Yes.
So sa technical, yes.
Yes.
Electronic products,
Yes.
even equipments, no?
Yes.
Are declared as such. No?
Yes.
So sa technical smuggling, medyo heavy ang mga yan.
Alam mo, the reason I mentioned the Attorney Trixie, for example, no, electronic products, technical smuggling yon, tapos yung sigarilyo ngayon, tapos yung pangatlo is fuel pa rin.
Fuel
pa
pa
rin.
naman,
Yung Singapore kasi, di ba, wala naman tariff yun eh.
Oo nga.
Walang taripa, pero mas mababang presyo ng produkto. Mas mababa.
Because
Walang taripa. Tsaka wala na smuggling kasi wala nang taripa eh. So, an electronic product in Singapore may be cheaper compared to the Philippines. Pero yung dito nga sa Pilipinas, I just would like to clarify na hindi yung mga nagsasmuggle din naman, pili din yung produkto eh.
Of course.
Hindi naman talaga yung...
Hindi lahat.
Oo, tsaka yung dati nan, iwas sila sa bigas, sa onions, kasi nga, it affects the local market. And I think...
Very sensitive yung ibang lalo na agri.
Yes. And for me, parang, basta wala kayong maapekto na lower, kunyari, just, conceptual discussion. fuel. Wala naman tayong fuel eh.
We don't manufacture it.
Oo,
Totoo.
eh
Yun nga yung
kung-
ginagawa ng Singapore.
Naibagsak niyo yung presyo ng fuel, edi okay ako. Hindi ako, hindi ako magre-reklamo.
I think kasi revenue generating.
Yes.
So yun yung nangyayari. Because cash-starved yung government, lahat nagkakaroon ng taripa tuloy.
Oo.
I think it needs to be re-evaluated. Tama ka doon. Considering yung economic conditions.
Katulad sabi ni Atty. Jet, tinaas yung taripa sa sigarilyo, naglipatan yung smuggler sa sigarilyo.
Automatic,
Eh kung maintain mo lang, mas malaki pa siguro yung naging revenue share mo. Ayan. So Atty. Jet, having said that, yung tinatanong na ni Atty. Trixie, di ba? Meron kang human resources and meron kang equipment, yung digitalization. So ano nang extent natin sa digitalization?
Right now, sir, we're entertaining some private proposals for digitalization. Meron kasi kaming pending case pa before the Supreme Court. We're
Challenge.
Yes. Actually, this is a case that was filed 2014 pa.
Oh, tagal.
Tapos nagkaroon ng injunction dun sa National Single Window Phase 2 project supposedly namin.
What is this supposed to do? What is the technology here?
The National Single Window is supposed to integrate all agencies to a single window where Customs will manage the single window. All other agencies will just submit their permits, regulatory issuances to that single window. Para hindi na ho kailangan na manually. Ako, mag-import ako ng, let's say, chocolates, punta pa ako ng DA to get a permit. Once I import, papakita ko pa yung permit sa Customs. This will allow sana DA to just talk to us electronically and tell us that these are allowed.
Parang blockchain.
Parang ganun ho. Parang ganun yung idea niya. Noong mga panahon na yun, and it's still being pushed. 2013, nagkaroon ng injunction. So when we were trying to modernize during the time of Commissioner Guerrero, mga 2020, using the funding of World Bank to modernize the entire customs processing system. That particular injunction attached to that particular program.
Ano to? Laban ng contractors?
Oho,
Usually ganyan talaga.
Nangyari may highest, di pa naman na-award sa kanya, may highest qualified na contractor, And then during that time, Commissioner Lina opted to cancel the entire contract and go with the Asikuda World, which is being offered by the World Customs Organization at that time.
Yes. Attorney Jet,
Look at the other options.
so now you're pushing that. I'm sure kayo ni Com Ariel, ni Pumoseno talagang ipupush nyo itong mga reforms na kailangan. Alam mo, meron tayong problema ngayon sa flood control projects, di ba?
Yes.
Ang laki nung, ang tawag dyan? Hingian eh. Sabi nga nung kay Attorney Discay, sabi nung Discay family, biktima kami, hiningan kami. Okay.
Correct.
In the case of customs, may mga politicians ba na nanghihingi?
Wala naman, sir, Wala naman. Usually,
Hihingi. What about nagne-negotiate? Na pwede ba, ano na lang
Pasok
ito?
to.
Sana.
openly, ma'am, I don't think naman. At least at my level, hindi ko alam kay Commissioner kasi mas malamang siya yung tatawagan kaysa kami.
Mag-usap daw kayo pagkatapos.
At least at my level, wala naman, sir. Usually what happens lang is that sometimes they would assist certain shipments siguro ng ibang companies. They would just ask us if we can help facilitate these shipments. Pero usually legal naman at saka maayos.
Ang nangyayari kasi Attorney Trixie dati, ang style, mag-a-appoint. Do you know na ang division head, let's say sa Port of Manila, yung division is bigger than the collector of Subic. Mas malaki pa dumadaan ng pera.
Ay.
Sa isang division, how much would pass through?
In one section alone, section lang yun, sir.
yeah.
So we have in one port, in one major port, especially in Manila, let's say the biggest one, Manila International Container Port, ang ang section saan is about 14, 1 to 15 yan, pero may isang blanco. So section 1 pa lang, sir, mga na yan, in 1 month, ang target niyan is about 5 to 6 billion pesos already.
Ito mo na, isang section lang yun.
Billion.
Yes. Yes.
Kaya
Foodstuff
ang
kasi yun.
nangyayari, lagayan ng tao.
Yung iba nga ayaw magpa-promote, di ba?
May ganong panahon na we had to force them to get promoted.
You kick them upstairs.
Yes, so that new hires can come in.
Kasi kasi nung panahon na yun, nagugulat ako. Nag-aaway section head. Sabi ko, ba't ganun? And I was then with as chief of staff. So, sasabihin ko, presidente, no? May recommendation dito, may recommendation. And you'll be surprised na talaga matataas na posisyon na tao. I mean, the senators and congressmen, ganun. So sabi ko, okay. Then I found out na yung palang section head, mas malaki pa sa ibang port.
Yes.
Dun sa during the time of Commissioner Nicanor Faeldon, shortly afterward, meron siyang binunyag na politician na nakikiusap doon sa importation ng anak niya. Di na natin babanggitin yung kung sino yon.
Medyo kalat yan eh. Sige ba, anyway.
Kunwari, pang tinago, Pero yung, do these things still happen? Kasi medyo, problematic nun si Comnic because the very same interests that he said no to, yung bumira sa kanya during Senate and House investigations. Ariel seems to enjoy the support of the President so far. But what about these things? Nangyayari pa rin ba itong mga pakiusap naman sa anak ko to eh?
Maybe in the level of the, again, no, I wouldn't know in my level, ma'am. No, I'm assistance is sought sa akin only on certain shipments, no, but not really connected
yung maliliit na problema.
Maliliit na problema, yung malalaking negosyo, no. I've heard some stories na gano'n, but I think after yung mga ganyang incidents, hindi na yata masyadong involved sa Bureau of Customs lately.
Pero is the BOC willing to publish yung annual corruption index report for the BOC? Is this in the works?
Yes. In fact, we want that because we're also publishing din naman yung aming trade facilitation scores, no? Which is one of the top in Southeast Asia. And we want to maintain that. Now, to be fair, since we're doing a clean-up in the Bureau of Customs, we want to be public as well in terms of the people's impression, no? Of us, no? And especially these indexes which reflects, at least the progress that we're doing, as a team in the Bureau of Customs. So, si Commissioner Ariel naman po has made it a commitment, to publish not just the good side, but at least the bad side as well. So that our people is also aware. May konting shame campaign kami doon ngayon, ma'am.
Uy, konti lang.
Konti lang. Para lang ma-realize sa mga tao namin that it's a different time.
Tingin mo nararamdaman naman nila?
Tingin ko naman, nararamdaman nila. Hindi ko lang alam kung nahihiya sila o takot lang talaga sila kay Commissioner.
Pero, yes.
Iba ugali nun kapag din.
Pero Attorney Jet, ang isa talaga is, before, wala kang technology. Now you have it.
Yes.
Kasi ang hirap din talaga pagka
isa pa yun,
mang-ipit
may
yung
mga
tao.
pinapasok ba? Because I do remember nung time naman when Danny Lim was still there, one of the things that seemed to have met with resistance, yun na nga, yung incoming technology. I understand yung available na when you know where every ship is anywhere in the world at any time and know what they are carrying. Hindi pa natin na-acquire yan, and do you think that this is still relevant now?
We have a vessel tracking system already, which is in our command center.
Okay.
And that's also the same, we have the same technologies being used by the Philippine Navy.
Yun.
So even if ang problema lang namin, may isang component na we were trying to get now, yung pag nagpapatay sila ng signal. May mga ganon eh.
Di ba dapat penalty na kaagad?
Kaya lang these are boats that do not usually transact regularly. So may mga records tong mga to, So when they turn it on, we either apprehend them or sometimes nagpapalit-palit minsan nga hindi pa registered talaga eh.
Papalit ng flag bigla.
Papalit ng flag bigla, may mga ganong style eh. So at least on the level of those who are really transacting, we can track them, know the load content, and predict kung ilan yung pababa sa particular ports namin.
So, very interesting. Maraming salamat, Attorney Jet, na pinaunlakan niyo kami. Although sisingilin namin si Com. Sa susunod, Com, kayo naman, ha? The folks will be back after this short break. Attorney, ay, sorry, Attorney Mike, sa Kong Mike. Tingin mo, do you think na, ewan ko, but right now we're hearing a lot of good things about customs.
Yes.
So, in fairness kay Com Ariel, it seems to, we've entered a quieter period ng customs. Dati, ang daming chika dyan ang daming, parang may scandal of the week sila marati dito sa customs. But surprisingly, we're entering parang a more sedate period. Although, sayang nga kasi hindi natin masyado naririnig yung mga dismissals, yung mga kaso, mga ganon.
Ako naman, Attorney Trixie, ang aking parati when I gauge it, kaya kanina kay Attorney Jet, ang tanong ko kagad kamusta yung target? And, they've been doing well sa customs. And Ariel is also working very hard, kasama tanto sila Attorney Jet. Ang worry ko ngayon is, dahil nga sa nangyari sa ekonomiya, baka hindi lang makolekta yung kailangan na makolekta. Kahit na anong gawin mong reform, pagka ang ekonomiya na bumagal, ay talagang ang bigat. But having said that, tuloy-tuloy lang kung ano yung mga pwedeng reforms at kailangan reforms. Of course, now, meron ng technology. Pwede na makatulong. And tingin ko, dahan-dahan, ma-institute tong reforms. Hindi ito, hindi natin dapat expect na bukas makalawa, parang anghel na lahat ng nasa customs. It will never be like that. But at least, they are doing two things. They are achieving the revenue target, and they are also doing the reforms slowly, as we should.
Kumbaga, hindi grabihan yung naririnig natin ngayon Unlike before na sinasabi nga nila, kahit yung taga-park ng kotse, 2 bahay.
So, yun naman ang pangit din talaga.
But now, ang tingin ko, meron talagang visible na nakikita kong may effect si Com Ariel. But in fairness, even the people that he has brought in.
Ang worry ko lang, wala na ngayon DPWH projects, baka bukpukin na naman ng Bureau of Customs.
Hanapin talaga nito mga to.
So at any rate, this wraps up today's episode of Spokes. For now, don't settle for just one side of the story.
Because every issue has two perspectives, and the truth may be somewhere in between.
Hi, I'm Mike Defensor.
And I'm Attorney Trixie Cruz-Angeles, and this is
The
Spokes.